Okay, guys, this is the last set of notes for the entire year. Okay, so we are talking about relative two-way frequency tables today, or two-way relative frequency tables. The only change between this and the last lesson is that we are taking percentages of these tables. Okay, so that's really the only new thing of this, right? So yesterday's math class asked 200 cell phone owners which size phone they prefer. They presented the results in a two-way frequency table. How can you use the data to compare the percentage of students who chose the small screen to the percent of adults who chose the small screen? Sorry, give me 1 sec here, guys. My bad. Okay. All right. So what we do here is we take the number of students, right, and we kind of compare them. You can actually compare either across rows or across columns, or even to the total number, right? So that's one of the good things about these percentages or these relative tables is that there's a lot of different like answers you can pull out of here, right? So I'm going to compare across the rows, right? So for students, we've got 48 out of 100. Okay. And then for adults, we've got 18 out of 100. Okay, so when we convert to decimals, right, you always take the number on top, divide by the number on the bottom, right, we get to 0.48. And then this is a little reductive with this, but to convert it into a percentage, you then take that answer and multiply by 100. And we actually get, for this problem, we end up getting back up to 48, but it's just 48% at this point. Okay? So 48% of students prefer small screens. We did the same thing. 18 divided by 100 is 0.18, multiplied by 100 is 18. So versus 18% of adults. So we could say something like 48% of students compared to 18% of adults prefer small screens. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Construct a two-way relative frequency table. Caden asks 150 parents. Make sure I actually wrote that down. 150 parents. Does that make sense? Oh, parents and students. That's what I'm missing right there. Kaboom. That's why that doesn't make sense. Okay. Asked 150 parents and students about their preferred method of communication. What percentage of people polled were students who preferred email? So we've got his data right here that he's like recorded in his notebook, but we're just going to take that and put it in this frequency table right here. Okay. So what we do now, we just kind of add things up, right? 18 plus 12 is 30. 18 plus 102 is 120. Add those together, we get to 150, which we knew that's what it was going to be in the total anyway, right? And then we add down, so that's 114, and that's 36, and those added together get us to that 150. So all our math that right there is correct. We've got our two-way frequency table filled out and our totals and everything. And now we're going to change it to a relative two-way frequency table. Okay, again, that just means we convert everything to percents. Okay, so what we do is we have our total right here, but instead of being 150 people, it's 100% of people polled, right? Okay, so this 150 becomes 100. And now what we do is we take every number here and we convert it into a percentage by doing the exact same thing for each one. We take the number in the box, we divide by the total, and that's our percentage, right? So 18 divided by 150, right, is that 0.12, and then we take that 0.12 and multiply by 100 to get to 12, right? So that's 12% right there. Now I'm going to skip that last step just because it's kind of like pretty self-intuitive. You just kind of move the decimal place over and you're good, right? Now we've got that 18. It's going to be the same number right there, okay? And then we've got 12 divided by 150 gets us to 0.08, which is 8%, okay? And then 102, oops, clear all. 102 divided by 150 gets us to 68%, okay? And now what we could do is we could do this 30 of 130%, or sorry, 30 divided by 150 gets us to 20%. Okay. And then, 120 divided by 150 gets us to 80%. Okay, 80 plus 20 is 100, so our math checks out. And then we could just add up down here. 8 plus 68 is 76. That's 24. And then 24 plus 76 is 100. So we have double checked our math, and it all works out. And we've converted this two-way frequency table to a relative two-way frequency table. That's that, guys. All we do is add percentages in here, okay? All right. Use the data given to make a two-way relative frequency table by rows according to the row relative frequency table. So we're going to be basically looking across, okay? What percent of students polled attended the last home game compared to the percent of faculty polled who attended the last home game? So we have our data here, right? And we're just going to convert it immediately into, no, what am I doing? It's not 150. It's 100% right here. So we're going to convert this all into relative frequencies, okay? So I take this 42, I divide by 95. I get to 44%. Okay. I take this 15 and I divide by 95. I get to 16%, let's say. Okay, now I'm just going to fill in the rest of it, and then we'll kind of talk about rounding here. 26 divided by 95 gets us to 27%. Okay, and then 12 divided by 95 gets us to, well, let's say 13%. Okay, now what we can do is we can kind of add across. So if we add down right here, 44 plus 16 is 60%. So we should expect this 57 divided by 95 to get us to 60%. So let's double check. Boom, perfect. Okay. Okay, now similarly, this 27 plus 13, we should expect that to get us to 30% if we take this 38 and divide by 95. 40%, my bad, 40%. Actually, this is working out better than I thought it would. Okay, now we should expect this 44 plus 27 to give us, what is 44 plus 27? We expect this to get us to 71, so we'll take that 68 and divide by 95. Yeah, that's where the rounding. Technically, that should be 72%, but we've been rounding everything, so I'll just stick with that because the percentage, the adding up has been working well. At 16 plus 13, we should expect to get 29% here, but we'll take 27 and divide by 95. And we end up getting 28% because we rounded on that last one, but we'll just keep it at 29%, right? So, and then we add, that gets us to 100. We add that way, that gets us to 100. So our relative two-way frequency table is filled out. Now, if we're talking about row relative frequencies, basically we take, rather than comparing to this total, we compare this to this total, or the students who attended the home game versus the total number of students. So 44 divided by 71 gets us to 62% of students. And then for faculty, we take that 16 and we divide by 29, and that gives us the total percentage of faculty, okay? Gets us to 55% of faculty. Shoot, what did I say? 16 divided by 29 gets us to 55% of the faculty, okay? Not looking at the total number, but we're looking at the row total right here versus right here. So that's that, okay? You can also compare by columns, so comparing down right here, right? So we can see that we have this 85 divided by 207 right there, right, to get to that 41% of people for, I should start by actually reading it, right? According to the two-way relative frequency table, do 8th graders check out a greater percentage of ebooks than 7th graders? So you take that 85 divided by 207, like in that row, right? And we end up getting to, let me double check my math is correct. 44 divided by 68, I should get 62, right? 42 divided by 68. Sorry, I just want to double check my math real quick, make sure I was doing this correctly. Okay, 62%. Yep, okay, cool. Because you could get that 62% by either doing 44 divided by 71 or 42 divided by 68. It's going to give you the same number. Okay. All right, so we take this 85 divided by 207, that gets us to 41%. of 7th graders, and then this 125 divided by 197 gets us to that 64% of 8th graders. So we could say 64% of 8th graders check out ebooks versus 41% of 7th graders check out ebooks. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's how you do it, guys. All right. Oh, that's it coming to an end. Oh, the last set of notes for you folks. So we're going to call this page 16 of our second volume. Okay. Okay. 16%. 16%. 16. I got percentages on the brain, guys. Okay, so 16 is interpret two-way relative frequency tables. This is 4.5. It's a terrible looking 5. So interpret two-way relative frequency tables. That's that.